Hello everyone, it's Natasha from Treasure Books. In this video, I'm going to make a journal from scratch, and I'm using the goodies that I received from this shop, Excelsiora Ephemera, on Etsy. I will link it down below, and you will see all of the fun goodies I received as I'm making the journal, but I'm really excited about using this handmade paper. And this is going to be the main attraction of the journal, I guess. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to go about it, but I have a general idea. So I decided to use something like this for a cover. I want to do a wraparound cover like this. This is just some type of a vinyl. And then I was just brainstorming before starting this video. I'm thinking of maybe having a pen loop here at the start, like this, on the front cover. So I can have a pen in there. I think I'm going to do that, and then I'll wrap around some type of a closure, maybe something like this. We'll see. So I don't know where it's going to take me. I'm just starting with a general idea, and I'm really liking this so far. So I don't know, we shall see where it's going to take me. I'm really excited about doing this because I haven't done a flimsy-ish type of a cover in a long time, and I think it'll be nice to just do something simple like this rather than having to spend a lot of work on the cover. All right. The first thing I'm going to do is make my signature, and I'm going to use this. I might even be able to use this for my closure. I'll try and use all of the goodies that I sent. I'm going to make this into a signature. Maybe I'll add some of this wallpaper. My initial idea was to use this as a cover, but I'll see what I'm going to do. And then there's this beautiful gold washi tape I can use. So there's definitely going to be some gold accents throughout the journal. But first things first, I am going to fold these in half to make my signature. And look at this beautiful handmade paper. So much fun. It almost seems like a waste to use it all up in one journal. So I'm just contemplating adding other papers in. But I don't know, I feel like I want this to be the main attraction of the journal, and just to have these types of pages in there. I want to see how this will go. My initial idea was to have this as a cover, but then the reason why I decided not to go with this as a cover is because I would have to trim these pages down, and I really don't want to lose this beautiful edge. But I might be able to have this in there in the signature. We'll see. I'm just going to pop this into the signature. And now I'm just kind of thinking if I should have just the one signature in there or if I should make two signatures. Look how yummy this is looking. But because this paper is quite thick, I'm wondering if I should just go with two signatures. I'm going to make it simple and just go with one signature, and I'm going to keep these, and perhaps I can use them for something else or use them in this project to make a little something else. We'll see. And now I feel like if I add this with the straight edge in there, it just doesn't seem to go all that well. But maybe it can be my starting. That looks quite nice too. But for now, I'm just going to stick with this. And here's my cover. And that goes really well with the inside, which is a huge plus. And this, I don't know if it's going to be enough. It will be enough. So now I just have to straighten my edges, and because it's a flimsy cover, I'm gonna cut this down as well, because if I leave this as is, when it's sitting on the shelf, it's gonna bend here. So I am going to trim it down to size just a little bit larger than my signature. And this piece of vinyl has some type of it was folded here, so but I think over time that's going to lay flat, so I'm just going to go ahead and use this piece. All right, so I made sure that I have one straight edge here, and now I want to check for height. So I will leave a little bit up the top and maybe a little bit down the bottom. So let's go over here, and I'm just marking how much I'm going to trim off. And now I'm just going to trim that off, and my ruler doesn't go all the way to the end, so I'll just have to make it work somehow. It's fine. So I've cut it halfway, and I'm going to move my ruler down. All right, that's my height done. And now I'm happy with that height. So before I trim the sides, the first thing I'm going to do is actually bind the journal straight into this cover, and then I will continue with trimming the sides to, where I need to trim them. Usually I will do some of my embellishing before binding into a cover, but because this is a flimsy cover, if I want to sew on the pages, I can easily do that because I can move everything out of the way. So that's why I'm starting with binding, and I'm just approximately checking where I want to bind. So I think that looks fine about there. And I'm just going to mark myself a little line here so that I know where I need to poke the holes. Perfect, there's my line. So that's going to be bound in here. I think that's going to be great. I could eyeball it and bind it in, but I won't do that. I'm going to make myself a template, a bounding template. So I'm just going to make the exact size height as my journal. So approximately about there. Open it up. And the height is okay. It's a little bit larger, but that's okay. I can easily center it. And I might as well just write myself top so I know that's the top. And now I'm just going to fold it in the middle to find my middle. And then approximately maybe fold about an inch. And that way I will have 3 folds. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to mark that because I'll be doing a 3 pamphlet stitch. So here we go. Those are my measurements for the binding. So the first thing I will do is mark my cover, but I just want to be able to see where I'm supposed to poke those holes. So I drew myself little lines instead. And now the holes have to go, I just have to mark here, but I want to be exact. So I'm going to find the center on my vinyl first. Not entirely necessary, but I like to be exact when I'm doing binding. All right, I found my exact center of the vinyl right there. And now I can align my center from this one with the center here. Make sure that it's aligned in a straight line, which is why I drew that line in the first place. And now I'm going to mark. Here we go. And now I can easily see where I have to poke the holes. All right, so that's the natural next step. I'm going to poke the holes, and I'm actually using a mouse pad or anything foamy underneath. A book will do as well. And I'm just going to poke the holes. There we go. Poked holes into the vinyl, and now I'm going to poke the holes into the signature. So I'll make my signature nice and the way I want it. Perfect. And I'm going to pop this piece of paper in there. Try and center it as best that I could. I think that looks about right. So I'm just going to poke those holes. It's going through quite easily. I've removed the template because I don't want to bind that into my book. And I'm going to put my awl back in through the hole and just keep it there while I get my thread ready. All right, here we go. I decided to use wax thread, and I decided to use this brown wax thread that I have because it will look quite nice with that cover. So I'm going to start on the inside of the journal. Go through, and now binding into the cover, I'm going into the middle hole here. And I'm going to go into this top hole here, which I can't see where it is because it's such dark vinyl, but let me find it again. It's kind of self-healing vinyl, so the hole closes straight away. All right, and now I can remove this awl from in there, go through, and now the next one is the 3rd hole, and then go through this one here, the cover. Make everything nice and tight, and now I have to go back in through the middle hole all the way to the inside. Here we go. That was quite easy. Make sure it's nice and tight. Good. And I have my threads on both sides of this middle thread here, and I'm just gonna tie a knot and tie a bow. Okay, so now that my journal is bound, I'm thinking, is this straight? It looks straight. That looks quite good. So now the first thing I need to do is trim this side, and I think I'm going to trim about here so that it's not actually going to be covering all of the pages to the end. You'll see what I mean. So I really have to make sure everything's nice and straight, and just I'm gonna cut where that mark is that I made and hope for the best. Here we go. Let's see. Okay, see what I mean? It's not covering everything because this one comes over it, so I didn't want this one to be messing with this one on the inside. Okay, so I'm happy with that side, and now this side I need to trim down as well. It's already looking quite nice. This, I mean, I could put a closure here and wrap around, but I really want to do that pen loop, so maybe around here somewhere. Maybe I'll fold it and then make a mark. That's how much I'm going to trim off, and again hope for the best. All right, I'm just lining everything up to make sure it's nice and straight. I hope I didn't make it too short. I think this will be okay. All right, so before I go back inside and embellish my journal using the wonderful things I've got, I want to completely finish the cover. So I have this little bit of leftover piece from my cutting expeditions, and now I'm going to try and do that pen loop. And I just want to see how much I will need. So this is definitely, this piece is too large, but it will be something like this. It's hard to see because the lighting isn't the best, but all right, I'm just going to trim a little bit. And then there's two ways I can go about this. I can set this with an eyelet, but I think I'm just going to take it to my sewing machine and just sew straight through there. But I just need to make sure that I leave enough of a loop. So how am I going to do this? I don't think I can keep the pen in there. Maybe I can hold it. I'm not sure how this is going to work. I really hope it works, because if it doesn't, then I'll have to think of something else. So I'm going to take this to the sewing machine and just sew that on. I'll be right back. All right, here we go. I just used black thread. Maybe not the best choice of thread, but that's all that I had. And I use a universal needle in my sewing machine, and it was fine to go through all these layers. So now I'm going to bring all of the threads on the inside and tie knots, and then trim all these bits off. All right, here we go. So the pen loop works. It's a little bit loose-ish. It could have been tighter, but I guess it's better that it's a little bit loose rather than too tight. So, but it's still not looking terrific, so I have to make it look better. And I'm thinking once I add my closure, I'm not sure how I'm going to do this yet, but once I add the closure, it might make it all look nice. So I thought maybe I can have an eyelet right there in the middle, and then run through the ribbon there, and then wrap around like this. I don't know how that's going to look, and there's only one way to find out, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I don't have a crocodile, but I do have this silent setter that I bought off eBay. The only issue is I don't think my eyelets are actually thick enough to go through this, because it's quite thick. I mean, long enough. I don't know what you would call them. So I'm going to have to brainstorm some ideas. Something like this would be perfect. But again, it's not long enough. I'm now thinking if maybe I can just poke a hole and not worry about the eyelet. I'm gonna go and poke a hole, then I'll decide what to do next. I can only give it a go, and if it doesn't work, then we'll think of something else. There's a solution to every problem, I hope, at least. Is anything happening over here? Oh, it's gone through. That was easy. All right, here we go. So I am going to apply my closure without an eyelet and see how it looks. And now I just need to work out how I'm going to do this. All right, so my initial idea was to bring that, whatever I'm using, double it up and bring it through, and then do it this way like I usually do. But I'm thinking this isn't going to work because, look, I guess it's not bad. It does work. And then the pen will go in there. I can't say that it doesn't work. It actually does. And I'm thinking that this is how I'm going to leave it. Another way I could do it is just put a single layer of the ribbon through, and then tie a knot on the inside, so then I would have that knot on the inside. So I'm actually going to keep it as this, even though I'm not entirely sold on using this ribbon. Maybe something like this would have looked better. It would probably look the best if I cut a thin strip of this material, the same material as this, and use that as a closure. But I'm adamant to use something like this. What about something like this? I don't know, I don't want to overcomplicate and spend too much time worrying about the closure, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and just go with this gold ribbon. But I'm not 100%. I'm really not 100% sold on this. So maybe I can fix it with some beads or something like that. Maybe that's going to bring it all together. So I'm going to see if I can find some beads that will go really nice over here. If I can find something that matches really nicely, it'll be... Oh, look at this. Oh my goodness. I think I can do something with these ones. And maybe some gold as well. Some gold beads. Let's see. I'm going to have a little play around, and I'll do one and then maybe I'll show you what I do with the other one. I think this will look good. Alright, so I decided to go with something like this, and I'll show you how I put them on. So I'm using the needle that I used for binding, and basically it's just a needle that has a larger eye so that I can put my ribbon through, and I kind of cut the ribbon at a slant so I can pop the ribbon through the needle. And then, of course, you want beads that have largish holes so that the needle can go through. You see, so maybe check before you choose your beads if the needle, the needle can go through. All right, so I'm putting this one first. I want them to be exactly the same on both. And then I'm gonna do this one, and then a gold, and finish off with another gold bead. Okay. So now that that's on there, I just want to check where I kind of want the beads to sit, and maybe that's fine there, and I'll just tie a knot to make sure they don't actually go anywhere. Something like that. Tie this knot here. So I'm tying right under that bead. Sometimes, you know, if I'm using a thin kind of material, if I was using something like this, I would have to tie a knot above the beads as well. So I would tie the knot first and then put my beads on. All right, I'm going to trim off the excess over here. It's not bad, and it's quite an easy, quick cover, right? I was always afraid of using flimsy material like this for covers, but I think it actually, as a wraparound cover like this, I think it's fine. Maybe if this was just a cover on its own like this without the wraparound closure, I wouldn't be too comfortable with it, but this is actually absolutely fine. And it looks fine even without the pen. Maybe it even looks better. It doesn't look better, but it looks okay without the pen as well. I'm just wondering if I should round these corners. Maybe I'll just do a little bit by a little bit and see if I like it. I think it looks better. Just a tiny little bit. Yeah, I like that. And I'll do the same over here as well. That looks quite nice with the rounded corners. And I'm still not sold on this, to be honest with you. But the good thing is, I can always just completely remove it and change it. So, you know, it's fine. All right, and now the fun part, embellishing. Even though I think this looks quite nice just as it is, but I really want to play around with these goodies. So I haven't opened this one yet, and this is all handmade paper. Handmade by Barbara from Excelsior Ephemera. So I think it would be so cool to make this into a little pack to go with the journal. Like if I'm going to sell the journal, maybe to have a little pack of this handmade paper. Because these edges are so beautiful and irregular, I don't want to be clipping too many things in. So maybe I can do something to go with the journal, or maybe I can do something like this. Oh, I have an idea. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a little pouch from this wallpaper. Should I do that straight away? I just want to check what else I've got. Then there's these beautiful, and these beautiful papers go so well with the cover as well. Look at this. It's perfect. That would have been cool as part of that signature as well, but all right, let's see what we can do. First, I'm going to go and make a pouch. Oh, there's this as well. All right, look how exquisite these are. This is actually some type of a dried plant. There's some handwriting, there's some washi tape. Look at this. Absolutely gorgeous. And this goes perfect in this journal. Absolutely perfect with the handmade paper, handmade feel. I think I'm going to clip this right over here on the first page. Just like that. And there's also these ones. And look at these beautiful tags with the wax seal over here and some thread. Exquisite, really. And I think for my project, I can pop this one somewhere. You know, to be honest with you, I feel like this paper on its own on the inside is quite enough to make a wonderful journal. And I feel like anything that I put in is taking away from the beauty of this paper. But I really want to use these goodies, so I'm going to embellish at least some of the pages or clip things in, and then these things can be removed, you know, by the person who purchases this journal or whatever. And there's these things. This will look cool on a front cover of a journal, like a book plate. And now I'm thinking it's such a good idea to make a little pouch to go with the journal, and it lives here at the front, and it's got all of the goodies for the person to use. Sometimes I like to purchase my journal that way, a blank type of a journal, not completely blank, but some embellishments, but then a goodie little bag on the side, and then I can go in and use bits and pieces as I'm journaling. And I often sell my journals that way too, so. And then there are these mushroom stickers, which I suspect I'm not going to use today, but I love mushroom stickers. And this is also another thing that goes really well with this theme. You know, the handmade kind of paper and nature, you know, dried little flowers and things like that. And then little mushrooms like that. It all goes so well together. All right, I'm going to go and make this pouch. The first thing I want to do is make an opening here, and then I'm going to sew the sides. But this, I don't know if this one's going to work because it's very blunt. So what I'm going to do is sandwich it between these two papers like this, and then hopefully that's going to give me a clean cut on the inside. I don't know. I think it will work. Only one way to find out. I think it worked perfectly. Let's have a look. There we go. Excellent. Here we go. Look at this beautiful little pouch. So as I was over there sewing, I was just thinking how wonderful it is to have such beautiful paper as this, and I didn't have to do any sewing. I didn't have to ink the edges and all that extra work, and that takes so much time. And the journal looks so beautiful. I feel like this is the first time I actually feel like putting things in is taking away from the beauty of the journal. So I'm going to put some things in here in this little pouch, and then that can live in there like so. That's my idea. So maybe I can put some of this in here, some of these little bits and pieces of handmade, beautiful. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Just this on its own. What a wonderful gift. Wrap around with a little bit of this twine. Make a little bow. Here we go. Absolute perfection. And I'm going to pop that in there. A little pouch coming along. Maybe some of these beautiful bits and pieces can also go in there. It's so much fun receiving little goodies. Or like if you sell a journal and then you send a little package like this, like a little thank you gift or freebie. So how beautiful. Maybe pop in a sticker. Excellento. Maybe pop in a little mushroom sticker. Why not? A little bit of this and a little bit of that. Maybe I can make a tag from one of these. Maybe something like this. I don't know how this sticker will stick on the handmade paper. Let's find out. Well, it's on there. Make that into a tag. So easy to make a quick little tag. Maybe I can put that in there or in here. Would it be nice to add a little charm? So I'm just going to go with something like this. Add a little bit of something, you know, a little charm. Maybe they should all have charms. Okay, so I'll have that there. I'm not going to go ahead and keep embellishing this because, like I said a million times, I think this looks really beautiful as it is. I wonder if I should have a little something here, like a little closure there. Did you say something? I should? Sorry? I shouldn't? All right. I'll try it and let's see how it looks. What have I got here? Oh, there's a little paper clip with a charm that's already on there. So let's see if it will work. Maybe if the charm comes. Ooh, it's kind of nice. Okay, you don't have to say I told you so, because look, if I put that in there, now there's going to be bulging in there. So I'm going to leave it as it is. All right, let's close this journal up. Here we go. What do we think? What do you guys think about this closure? Let's see if I try a different pen. Maybe not a pretty pen, just any pen. I think maybe the reason why I don't like it is because that gold and this bronze doesn't go, oh, it's kind of clashing a little bit. So I think that's what the issue is with this closure. Even though the bronze pen looks so much better than in any of the other pens, I think this journal is missing a little something, and it's just crossed my mind. I'm going to add it right now, and it's going to make everything so much better. If I just put little eyelets there. All right, I'm going to go ahead and add these off camera. I'm going to use my silent setter and add those little eyelets and see how it looks. I added those eyelets there and just kind of makes it look really nice, I think. And also, I guess you could go ahead and have a little charm on there. I don't think it's necessary to put anything on there, to be honest, because of, you know, the pen and the beads at the end of the closure. But it's just nice to play around, and to be honest, I can't believe that I actually just made a journal in this short amount of time. You know, look how beautiful this looks. I love it so much. So that definitely helped, and I'm definitely happy with how the journal turned out. So what do you guys think? I hope that you have at least had some ideas from this video. I wasn't feeling particularly inspired today because we're back in lockdown. We have been for a little while, homeschooling and all that sort of stuff. So I felt like I'm not very creative today, but I'm quite happy with how this turned out, and I hope you feel inspired, and I hope you got some new ideas from this video. All right, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.